It doesn't hurt that former Packers head coach Mike Sherman, Taylor's father-in-law and one of his two biggest influences in coaching, once served as Kubiak's offensive coordinator in Houston. "I've always appreciated a Gary Kubiak game plan," Taylor said. "He's always under center. It starts with the run, then there's the play actions and the naked, bootlegs, and the screens built off that, and then you drop back on known passing situations. We'd sit there on Sunday afternoons, and when Klint is sitting next to you, you're going to watch the Texans game. I appreciated the way that he attacked teams and used those tight ends they had, and that kind of led us to James Casey. I remember seeing James Casey and how specific he was with his technique and hearing everything, how he got there, and so I would always follow his career. The Bengals would like nothing better than to have that kind of success. They've never beaten a team coached by Kubiak. He's 7-0 against Cincinnati, beating the Bengals with 4 different quarterbacks. His scheme was so solid that he beat them with Texans rookie backup T.J. Yates to win the 2011 AFC South on the last play in a playoff game by a rout inside of a month, and with Broncos backup Brock Osweiler to secure a playoff bye they took from the Bengals in 2015. Then in 2016, Trevor Seaman did what Matt Ryan, Joe Flacco, Alex Smith and Russell Wilson couldn't do against a Paul Guenther defense in Paul Brown Stadium, and won. The numbers: Kubiak's teams averaged 30 rushes and 122 yards per game against the Bengals, and 4 of them were against Zimmer's proud top 10 defenses. No wonder he took him to the Twin Cities. That number of 30 rushes in a game may sound familiar. In Dalton's 55 starts, the Bengals have rushed at least 30 times. He's the 2nd of June 47. It's a number they've hit just 7 times in the past 2 seasons, when they're 5-2. Twice last year for 1-1. But don't look for Taylor to beat Mixon to a pulp. He indicated Giovanni Bernard should plan on getting plenty of work. He saw Rams running back Todd Gurley get worn down late last year, and he wasn't himself in the 2 biggest games of the year. It's hard to take Todd Gurley off the field. Last year, look at the scores. I swear every game was a 1-point game, Taylor said. Every game we were trying to find a way in 4 minutes to get a first down to ice the game, otherwise they were going to get the ball back with a chance to win. Every game felt that way. It's harder to take your starting running back, who was the league MVP the year before, off the field. But any team would say you have to take care of those guys late in the year. You have to find ways to get them off the field and get the no 2 or no 3 guy on the field. It's hard. It's a challenge in games. But you have to create a plan you try and stick to and do your best to keep those guys fresh. Taylor has yet to call plays for a full season in the NFL. He did it for a year in college, Cincinnati in 2016, and on an interim basis for half a year in the league, Miami in 2015, but he believes being heavily involved in game planning with Rams head coach Sean McVay and Dolphins head coach Joe Philbin as their quarterbacks coach has prepared him. Any team I've been a part of, everyone is so involved in the game planning and why this stuff is in the game, Taylor said. Certainly some guys. Sean McVay is an unbelievable play caller, so it's hard to ever predict where you're going to measure, but you always felt like, I know why we're doing this in situations we want to use this stuff, and you can jump in and go. And so it's just a matter of doing and putting it out there. When asked how far he thinks ahead for plays, Taylor gave a glimpse that he's been preparing for this role for a long time. I think you go into each series with an idea of how you want to attack that drive. So you have an idea how you see the series unfolding. Oftentimes that's the first play, first 3 plays. Maybe you want to get these calls in the first 2 plays because on the 6th play, if we get this thing moving, we want to come back and get them with this, Taylor said. The next part of the question is, now you're 1st and 10 and you're thinking we're at 2nd and 11, it's this. If you're 2nd and 4, it's this. You have 2 calls in your head based on the success of the play that's upcoming. You don't think about that every snap, but there are times you have to think that way because you have to get the play out quicker. So you have to have a couple of plays in mind based on what you predict the success could be of the current play. The ramped-up running game is pretty much designed to make life easier for Dalton. And Taylor is all in on the guy. He ran it through for the national media one more time Tuesday on how he really admired Justin Fuente, Texas Christian's quarterbacks coach and co-offensive coordinator, and that meant he was watching a lot of tape of the redhead playing QB. "I have full belief in our quarterback," Taylor said. "Andy has won a lot of games in this league and so I'm excited. If he had been healthy all season, I would have been excited to see what he did last year, healthy for all the games. I'm excited to work with Andy, full belief in Andy, that he's the right guy for what we want to do. He can handle everything, cerebrally. He can handle everything you want to do at the line of scrimmage, which is key. He can make all the protection calls, understands what we're looking for in the run game. Andy is great in that regard. He's got a high football IQ, he'll be able to handle anything they throw at him. So there it is. It also sounds like he's okay with backup Jeff Driscoll, although no one would be surprised if the Bengals drafted a QB to develop." Taylor said as much. "The question there is how high do you go when you can use that pick to help the guy that is actually going to play QB? And the Bengals have had plenty of chances to go after a vet backup QB. The coaches know, Ryan Tannehill, and one both the Bengals and coaches know, A.J. McCarron. But nothing." "That's right. Good observation," Taylor said. "Jeff's got a lot of great tools that we're excited to work with as a number 2 quarterback. It's good he got the experience he got last year. I think that's good for any young quarterback to be able to get that experience and learn from it and get that second year. But like any position, you're always looking at the draft and seeing where you can improve your whole time. But we're excited to have Jeff.